Hello and welcome today to a short gospel talk I want to entitle Good News in the Mail. I suppose that the things that we get in our mailbox could be divided into possibly three different categories. We get the bills and the invoices, the things that we are expecting but we really don't want, and we have to find the wherewithal to pay them from our own means, and sometimes that can be difficult enough. Then of course there is the cards and the letters and the little drawings that comes from children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews and some overseas, and we look forward to that, to a foreign stamp, and we open the envelope and we say, here is something that's really attractive we're going to enjoy. Then there's a third category of things that come in our mail. I suppose that it's probably the bigger bulk and volume, and in certain parts of the world we have taken to calling that our junk mail. That is things that we don't really want, we didn't ask for, we don't see them as being beneficial to ourselves, and in many cases they go straight from the mailbox straight through to the trash. We don't pay any attention to them at all. I often think that the marketing men that put them together and the advertisers that pay for them, they must lose a tremendous amount of the money they have invested, and yet they think it's worthwhile. Just the other day, I got a piece of that kind of mail in my box. I wasn't anticipating it, I didn't ask for it, but it came all the same. It stopped me in my tracks. I didn't put it in the trash because the title on the page caught my eye and caught my attention. It said on it, it's still the best decision I have ever made. It actually was talking about converting my heating boiler, my furnace, from one kind of fuel to another. When I read the detail, I made the decision that I didn't really want to do that, because I saw that down the line there might be some catches, there might be expenditure I hadn't taken account of, and who knows which way, which of the different fuels might go in price in the months that are to come. But it still made me think. It made me stop. Still the best decision I ever made. I wonder if I asked you watching this video, what is the best decision that you ever made in your life? What would you say? I know some people would say, it was the day I picked a certain partner. We were joined together, we've lived together for a lifetime. It was a great decision. I wouldn't change it for the world. Some of you would say, well, I'm glad I picked a certain college and a certain degree course. It led me to a wonderful career path. I wouldn't change it for anything. Some of you might say, well, I made a decision early in life to go to a different continent, a different country, a different land, to emigrate, and to work hard to get a permit to stay in that country. Better opportunities than the one that I had left. I wouldn't change that for anything, even I had it to do again. But still I come back to this original question. The best, still the best, at the end of life. Let me ask you the question in a slightly different manner. If you were stepping from this side of life into the other side of life, what we call in Bible terms eternity, looking back over a lifetime, no matter how long it might be, what would you say at the point of death? Still the best decision I have ever made. 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years still existing on the other side. What would be the best decision you ever made in your lifetime? Let me take you on a short journey. way back more than 55 years in my personal lifetime experience, as a young fellow, attending a gospel service in a little mission hall outside my hometown, not really listening to what the preacher on the pulpit was saying, thinking internally about my soul, about its destiny, about my sin, my distance from God, the condition that I had inherited from my foreparents, things I had learned in Sunday school. Right there, sitting on that seat, my feet hardly able to touch the floor, I made a decision. I believed in the words of Jesus Christ. Matthew's Gospel, chapter 11, verse number 28, Jesus says, "Come to me, everyone who's weary, everyone who is burdened down and overloaded." And he says, "I'll give you peace. I'll give you calmness. I'll give you rest." I wanted that in my soul because I had a burden about my sin. I had a burden about meeting God in the condition that I was in. I wanted peace. I wanted the knowledge that my sin had been removed through the death of Jesus Christ on my behalf. And so I accepted his invitation. I accepted God's promise. I believed the verses that I had learned in Sunday school even years before that. John 3:16, "For God so loved this world, that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have forever everlasting life." There and then, I decided to come and accept the invitation of Jesus Christ. He received me as a sinner. He became my Savior, and my sin and my penalty were removed forever. When I come to die, if I do, when I am 1,000 years on the other side, and I will be, I will say, not about my furnace, not about my boiler, not about my fuel, not about my partner, not about my career, about my soul and its destiny on the other side forever, I will say, it is still the best decision I have ever made. May you make that right decision while there's time and decide to accept Jesus Christ, God's Son, as your Savior.